My mother-in-law drops sneaky insults about my money and life choices, hinting I'm not good enough for her precious son every chance she gets. My husband just sits there silently, letting her tear me down while I feel like an outsider. I've been sitting on this for a while, and I just need to vent somewhere because I'm losing my mind trying to figure out if I'm overreacting or if my in-laws, mostly my mother-in-law, are actually out to get me. I've been married to my husband, Lucas, for about a year now. He's 26, I'm 25, and we're still figuring out this whole married life thing. Lucas is great, funny, sweet, the kind of guy who'd drop everything to help you move a couch. But his family, that's where it gets messy. Specifically, his mom. She's got this way of acting like she likes me while simultaneously making me feel like I'm the worst person to ever step foot in their house. It's all passive-aggressive digs, and I don't know how to handle it anymore. Add in some extra drama with his sister, money stuff, and holiday nonsense, and I'm starting to wonder if I'm the one screwing up here. So here's the whole story. Bear with me, it's a lot. Started small, I guess. When Lucas and I were dating, his mom was polite enough. She'd smile, ask about my job, I work in marketing, nothing fancy but it pays the bills, and offer me coffee when I came over. But once we got engaged, something shifted. It was like she realized I wasn't just some temporary girlfriend anymore. I was sticking around. The first real red flag was at our engagement party. My mom threw it at her place, nothing huge, just family and a few friends. Lucas's parents showed up, and his mom spent the whole night making these little comments. Like, she'd look at the food my mom made, lasagna, salad, pretty standard stuff, and go, "Oh, this is interesting. We usually do a roast for big occasions." Not a compliment, not outright rude, just enough to make you feel like you did it wrong. I brushed it off then, but looking back, that was the start. Fast forward to now, a year into marriage, and it's gotten so much worse. Take last weekend, for example. Lucas and I went to their house for dinner. They live about an hour away in this big, old house with creaky floors and way too many family photos on the walls. It's the kind of place that smells like mothballs and regret. We get there, and his mom greets us at the door with this tight little smile. "Oh, you made it," she says, like it's a surprise we didn't bail. Lucas hugs her, I say hi, and we go inside. His dad's there too, sitting in his recliner watching some golf rerun, barely looking up. He's not the problem, he's just checked out. It's her I'm worried about. Dinner's where it really kicks off. She made chicken pot pie, which, fine, I like chicken pot pie. I'm not picky, but as soon as we sit down, she starts. "I hope this is okay for you," she says to me, her voice all syrupy. "I know you're used to different things." I'm like, what? Different how? I grew up eating normal food, pizza, burgers, whatever. I don't even know what she's implying, but it feels like a jab. Lucas doesn't say anything, just shovels pie into his mouth like he's trying to avoid the conversation. Then she keeps going. "Lucas always loved this growing up. It's a family recipe." Cool, great, I'm glad he likes it. Why does that need to be a dig at me? It's not just the food stuff either. Money's a big thing with them. Lucas is an engineer, makes decent money, way more than me. I'm not ashamed of that. I like my job, and we're fine financially. But his mom acts like I'm some gold digger who's holding him back. A few months ago, we were over there, and she starts talking about how Lucas could have gone so far if he'd stayed single longer. She didn't say because of you, but she didn't have to. It was all in the way she looked at me, eyebrows raised, sipping her tea like she's judging my entire existence. Lucas laughed it off, said, "Mom, come on." But he didn't really push back. That's the thing with him, he hates rocking the boat. He'll vent to me later about how she's too much sometimes. But in the moment, nothing. It drives me insane. His sister, Tessa, doesn't help. She's 24, still lives at home, and acts like I've personally ruined her life by marrying her brother. She's got this pouty, petty vibe, always on her phone, scrolling Instagram, making snarky comments under her breath. At that same dinner last weekend, she chimes in after the pot pie thing. "Yeah, Lucas used to eat this all the time before he moved out. Guess he doesn't get home cooking anymore." I wanted to snap back, "I cook plenty, thanks." But I just smiled and took a bite instead. Tessa's tight with their mom, And I swear they feed off each other. Like, if his mom says something shady, Tessa's right there to pile on. I get it, she's probably jealous. Lucas and I have our own place, our own life, and she's still stuck in her childhood bedroom with posters on the walls. But why take it out on me? The holiday stuff is another layer of hell. Thanksgiving's coming up, and it's already a mess. Last year, right after we got married, we tried to split time, lunch at my mom's, dinner at his parents'. My mom's chill, she doesn't care as long as she sees us. But his mom? She acted like it was a personal attack. "Oh, I guess we're just the backup plan," she said when we told her the schedule. Lucas tried to smooth it over, saying we'd be there for the main meal, but she kept dropping these guilt-trippy lines all night. "It's fine. I'll just freeze the leftovers. Don't worry about us." Like, lady, it's not about you. This year, I suggested we host at our apartment to avoid the whole thing, but she shut that down fast. No, we always do it here. It's tradition." So now we're stuck driving back and forth again, and I'm already dreading her inevitable comments about how my mom's turkey is different or whatever. Then there's this weird thing she does about kids. We don't even have any yet. Lucas and I want to wait a couple years, enjoy being just us for a bit. But his mom's already got opinions. At dinner, out of nowhere, she goes, "Well, when you have kids, you'll see how hard it is to keep traditions alive. I just hope they don't grow up too modern." Modern? What does that even mean? I'm sitting there, fork halfway to my mouth, trying to decode it. Is she saying I'd raised them wrong? Lucas changes the subject, starts talking about some work project. But it's too late. I'm stewing. She's got this vision of perfect grandkids who'll eat her pot pie and never question her. And I'm the wrench in that plan. I've tried talking to Lucas about it. After that dinner, we're driving home, and I'm gripping the passenger seat armrest, just unloading. "Your mom hates me, doesn't she? Like, she's never gonna accept me." He sighs, keeps his eyes on the road. "She doesn't hate you. She's just set in her ways." Set in her ways? That's his excuse every time. I push harder. "She acts like I'm not good enough for you, and Tessa's no better. Why don't you say something?" He gets quiet, then mutters, "I don't want to start a fight. They'll get over it eventually." Eventually? It's been a year. I'm not asking him to scream at her. Just back me up once in a while. But he's so scared of upsetting them, he leaves me hanging. My mom's noticed too. I vented to her last week over coffee at her place. She's got this tiny kitchen with yellow curtains and a coffee pot that's probably older than me. I'm sitting there, spilling everything: dinner, the money comments, the kid stuff. She's stirring sugar into her mug, shaking her head. "That woman's got no right treating you like that. You need to stand up for yourself, honey." Lucas too. I groan. I try, but it's like talking to a wall. And Lucas won't help. She leans back, gives me that mom look. "Then you make him. He's your husband, not her little boy anymore." She's right, I know she is, but it's easier said than done. Here's a flashback that's been stuck in my head lately. A few months after the wedding, we went to their place for Lucas's birthday. I baked a cake, chocolate, his favorite. Took me hours because I'm not exactly a pro baker, but I wanted it to be special. We get there, and his mom's already got this store-bought cake on the table, all fancy with frosting flowers. She sees mine and goes, "Oh, you didn't have to do that. I always get him a cake from the bakery downtown. It's what he likes." I'm standing there, holding this lumpy homemade thing, feeling like an idiot. Lucas cuts in, "Mom, she worked hard on it." But then he grabs a slice of hers anyway. Tessa snickers, says, "Yeah, good effort though." I laughed it off in the moment, but it crushed me. That's when I started realizing, this isn't just random. She's marking her territory. I keep replaying these moments, wondering if I'm reading too much into it. Like, maybe she doesn't mean it the way it sounds. Maybe I'm too sensitive. But then I think about how she never asks about my life. My job, my family, anything. It's always about Lucas or her, or their perfect little world I don't fit into. And Tessa's right there, smirking, like she's won some sibling rivalry I didn't sign up for. Meanwhile, Lucas is stuck in the middle, pretending it's fine, and I'm over here feeling like the outsider in my own marriage. Last night was the tipping point. We're at our apartment, Me and Lucas, just chilling on the couch watching some dumb reality show. I bring it up again, calmer this time. I need you to talk to your mom. She's making me miserable, and you acting like it's no big deal isn't helping. He rubs his face, groans. What do you want me to say? She's my mom. I snap back. And I'm your wife. I'm not saying cut her off. Just tell her to quit with the shady comments. He stares at the TV for a minute, then says, I'll try. Okay? But she's not gonna change overnight. It's not enough, but it's something. Now I'm stuck wondering if I'm pushing him too hard, or if I'm right to expect more. So that's where I'm at. I'm tired of the snide remarks, the guilt trips, the way his family acts like I'm some intruder. I don't know if I'm overreacting to normal in-law stuff or if they're genuinely being a-holes. I love Lucas, but I didn't sign up to feel like crap every time we see his family. My mom thinks I should put my foot down, but what if that just makes it worse? I keep going back and forth. Am I the one screwing up here, or are they? Am I being unreasonable for wanting Lucas to stick up for me more? I just need some outside perspective because I'm too deep in this mess to see straight. Update. How the situation has evolved since then. Okay, so it's been about 10 months since I last spilled my guts about the whole mess with my mother-in-law and Lucas not stepping up. A lot's gone down since then. Some good, some bad, and some just straight up wild. I figured I'd update you all because things have shifted in ways I didn't see coming, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around where I stand with everything. After that night on the couch where I basically begged Lucas to talk to his mom, he actually did it. Not right away, he sat on it for a couple weeks, which drove me nuts, but eventually he called her. I wasn't there for it, but he told me he kept it simple. Said something like, Mom, you've got to ease up on the comments. It's stressing us out. Her response? She played dumb. I don't know what you mean, Lucas. I'm just trying to help. Classic. He didn't push harder, which I half expected, but at least he said something. I thought maybe it'd make a dent. Spoiler, it didn't. The next time we saw her was at their place for Easter, about a month after his call. I was braced for more of the same. Snarky little jabs about my cooking or how I don't get their family. And yeah, she didn't disappoint. We brought a ham. Pre-cooked, nothing fancy. And she takes one look at it and goes, Oh, you didn't have to bother. I already made one. Ours is homemade. Lucas squeezes my hand under the table, like that's supposed to make it better. But I'm fuming. Tessa's there too, smirking into her mashed potatoes, saying, Yeah, Mom's ham is the best. I wanted to chuck the damn thing out the window, but I just smiled and said, Great. More for everyone. It's like his call didn't even register with her. She doubled down instead. That night, driving home, I lost it. I'm in the passenger seat, staring out at the highway, and I just unload. Lucas, she's never gonna stop. You talking to her didn't do jack. And I'm tired of pretending it's fine. He's gripping the wheel, jaw tight, and he snaps back. What do you want me to do? Yell at her? She's my mom. It turned into this huge fight. Him saying I'm too sensitive. Me saying he's too spineless. We didn't talk for the rest of the night, and I slept on the couch. It was the first time I seriously wondered if we could keep doing this. Things stayed rocky for a while. We weren't fighting all the time, but there was this tension hanging over us. Every time his mom came up, like if he mentioned going to their place, I'd get this knot in my stomach. I started pulling back, making excuses not to go with him. He'd go alone, come back quiet, and I'd be stewing, wondering what she said about me this time. It wasn't sustainable, and we both knew it. About 4 months ago, I hit a breaking point. I sat him down and said, Lucas, I love you, but I can't keep feeling like your family's punching bag. Either we figure this out together, or I'm done. It was harsh, but I meant it. I wasn't threatening divorce or anything. Just, I needed him to get how serious this was. That talk flipped a switch in him. He didn't turn into some knight in shining armor overnight, but he started trying. The next weekend, he suggested we host a dinner at our place. His parents, Tessa, the whole crew. I was skeptical, but he insisted. Let's do it our way. They can deal. So we did. I cooked spaghetti, garlic bread, nothing they could call weird. And Lucas actually helped set the table, which he never does. When they showed up, His mom walked in with that same tight smile, but Lucas cut her off before she could start. She tried saying, "Oh, this is cozy," and he jumped in with, "Yeah, we like it. Glad you're here." It wasn't much, but it shut her down. Tessa rolled her eyes, but she didn't say anything either. Dinner wasn't perfect. She still made a couple digs, like, "I guess this is easier than a roast." But Lucas kept redirecting her. Felt like a tiny win. Since then, he's been better about calling her out. Not every time, but enough that I've noticed. Like last month, we were over there, and she started in on how some people don't value family traditions. Lucas shot back, "Mom, we've got our own traditions now. Chill." She blinked, didn't respond, and changed the subject. It's not like she's suddenly my biggest fan, but the comments have dialed back a bit. Tessa's still a brat. She'll mutter stuff like, whatever under her breath, but she's less bold without her mom fully backing her up. I think she's mad Lucas isn't her little sidekick anymore. Here's where it gets messy, though. A new problem's popped up, and it's because of all this. Lucas's mom has started playing the victim. About 2 months ago, she called him crying, full-on sobbing, saying she feels like she's losing him because of me. Said I'm pulling him away from the family, and she doesn't know what she did wrong. Lucas came home wrecked, torn between guilt and frustration. He told me everything, and I could see he was second-guessing himself. "Maybe I've been too hard on her," he said. I wanted to scream. Hard on her? She's been grinding me down for over a year. But I kept calm and said, "She's manipulating you, Lucas. This is what she does when she's not in control." He didn't argue, but I could tell he wasn't convinced. That call kicked off a whole thing. Now, every time we see her, she's got this wounded look, like I've personally stabbed her in the heart. Last week, we stopped by to drop off some stuff, and she hugged Lucas extra long, whispering something I couldn't hear. When I asked him later, he said she told him, "I just miss how things used to be." Tessa's jumped on it too. She texted him after, saying, "Mom's really upset. Hope you're happy." It's like they're tag-teaming him to make him feel like the bad guy, and I'm the evil witch who's ruined their perfect family. It's exhausting, and it's putting Lucas in this impossible spot where he's ping-ponging between me and them. I'm doing okay, I guess. Better than before, at least. Having Lucas step up even a little has taken some weight off. I don't dread every visit like I used to, and I've gotten better at brushing off the small stuff. But this victim card she's playing has got me on edge. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, like she's building up to something bigger. Lucas says I'm paranoid, but I don't trust her. She's too good at twisting things, and I'm scared she'll guilt him into pulling back from me just when we're starting to get somewhere. He's struggling more than he lets on. I can see it in how quiet he gets after talking to her. He loves his family, and this whole "you're abandoning us" act is eating at him. Last night, we were in bed, and he just stared at the ceiling for a while before saying, "I don't know how to fix this without someone getting hurt." I didn't have an answer. I want to tell him to cut her off, but I know that'd break him, and honestly, I don't want to be that person. So we're stuck in this weird limbo where he's trying to balance us both, and I'm trying not to lose my mind over it. The craziest part? I caught myself feeling sorry for her the other day, just for a second. Like, maybe she really does feel like she's losing him, and this is her screwed-up way of coping. But then I remember the pot pie comments, the cake thing, all of it, and that sympathy dries up fast. Tessa's not helping. She's fanning the flames, probably because she likes the drama. I don't know where this is going, but it's like we've traded one problem for another. Before, it was her attacking me. Now, it's her playing martyr and dragging Lucas into it. So yeah, that's where we're at 10 months later. Lucas is stepping up more, which is huge, but his mom's flipped the script, and it's messing with us in a whole new way. I'm holding it together, but I'm tired of fighting, tired of worrying. Am I out of line for thinking she's full of it? Or am I the one screwing up by not letting this go?